Among Us is a pretty simple game. If you're the imposter, you kill the crewmates without getting caught. And if you're a crewmate, well then good luck, because you're gonna need it. But have you ever wondered why imposters are so hell-bent on killing crewmates? Or why crewmates are so oblivious to imposters? Well, we've got 10 unbelievable theories for you that might just explain why things are going berserk in the Among Us universe. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe. Otherwise, you'll be cursed with being a crewmate for the next 10 games. Sucker! Not a risk you want to take. Everyone's an imposter? Okay, so for the first theory we're taking a look at is trying to decipher why the imposters are evil. Now, as you probably already know, the imposters aren't just space travelers, they're actually aliens. So this theory suggests that everyone in the game is an alien, including the lovely crewmates. Basically, every single crewmate is an imposter, but just because they're an imposter doesn't mean they're evil. That's kind of confusing, right? Okay, well, the theory pretty much says that everyone on board is an alien, but only some of them became evil because of genetic mutations. Because they're all the same species, somewhere along the line, some of the imposters' genes became purely evil and violent, and now they have no choice but to enact cruelty on their fellow crewmates. So really, this theory is saying that imposters aren't infiltrating the crew, but rather they're already part of the crew, just purely evil. We'll be honest, this theory is kind of obvious. So what if the imposter was a good crewmate? Crewmates Go Paranoid. Alright, our next theory is all about how the imposters were actually paranoid crewmates who believed other people on the ships were imposters. So in the beginning, all was fine for the crewmates, but then a horrible story started going around that said that there was an imposter among the crewmates. This imposter was quickly killing crewmates off. So a couple of crewmates started getting really paranoid and tried to figure out who the imposters were and began recklessly killing crewmates, failing to realize that that's what made them imposters. It's the whole "I'm gonna stop crime, but I'm the reason there's so much crime" paradox that Batman has to deal with. It's actually kind of a terrifying theory because it suggests that imposters are just crewmates trying to do good for their fellow shipmates, but just got so paranoid that they became the thing they were trying to stop. Real deep stuff, that theory is. Okay, let's move on to a theory that's way more lighthearted and meta. Black and red, true imposters. So this theory is pretty simple. It suggests that, canonically, the true imposters are red and black. Why, might you ask? Well, some fans believe that red is the true imposter because they're heavily featured throughout the game, namely the tutorial, and they open up the game. Red is also the character in the game's logo, which is a pretty heavy detail. As for black, well, they're on the sabotage button, a button only imposters can press, so it makes sense that they'd be the true imposter. What do you think? Are black and red really the main imposters? Let us know in the comments below. Moving on to something a bit more dark. You'll never win. Alright, you existentialists, don't say we don't ever have any theories for you. This kind of sad theory suggests that either as an imposter or crewmate, you'll never really win and move on. You're just damned to repeat the same thing again and again. Think about it, your purpose as a crewmate is just to do your duties and try to figure out who is killing you and your crewmates. Okay, when does that ever end? No matter how many maps you go on, no matter how many players you end up playing with, you're still completing never-ending tasks, never getting the chance to move on. And no matter how many times you win, imposters just keep coming back again and again. Like, when will it end? Maybe the game is meant to be an allegory of sorts for the myth of Sisyphus, punished to roll a boulder up a hill, only for it to come back down for all of eternity. Okay, maybe we'll lay off the philosophy for a bit and try something a bit less depressing. You're in Purgatory. Just kidding. One more philosophical theory that piggybacks off the last one, and then we're done. So this theory suggests that the crewmates are stuck in Purgatory, a place between heaven and hell where they have to win to figure out their final resting place. This kind of makes sense if you think about it. When you become a ghost, you're still able to help the crewmates out and win the game, essentially becoming an angel. Imposters are pretty much demons, trying to kill everyone. The undertones are definitely there. Alright, something more fun. Vents or portals? So Among Us isn't a game that has supernatural elements in it, but if you think about it, aren't the vents pretty magical? I mean, let's look at the facts. You can go from one end of the map to the other in a matter of seconds just by vent hopping. Like, it's instantaneous and super quick, which made some players theorize that some sort of dark magic is happening in the game, particularly when it comes to the imposters. We know that the imposters are pretty much evil aliens, but are they an advanced race who managed to figure out how to teleport quickly? Who knows? We're just glad we don't have to wait for a long time when we're venting around. Vents are heavy. Okay, so I was thinking why crewmates couldn't just lift up vents. I mean, after all, they do appear to be the same species as the imposters, so why is it just that the evil people get to hide away? So that got me thinking, what if the vents are really hard, heavy to open, and the imposters are strong, like super strong, and their evil DNA turns them into aliens with Hulk-like strength? It's not like crewmates can't see the vents, but it's just that they're too weak to open them up. Okay, we're gonna change things up and focus on some real-life theories about the game and its development. Don't forget, these are just theories, so let's have some fun with them, all right? Oh, and now would be a great time to like and subscribe if you're loving the video. Let's not go outside. Alright, this theory is pretty meta and kind of far-fetched, but we figured you guys would be interested. Isn't it a bit strange that a game from 2018 that virtually no one had heard of just randomly blew up in 2020, the year of a pandemic? Well, our third theory suggests that governments across the world collaborated together to help make Among Us a hit during the summer of 2020. Like, the governments paid Twitch streamers to show off the game, so it would eventually blow up and become a phenomenon. The theory suggests that governments did this to ensure that people, especially young people, would stay inside and play the game, as opposed to going out and hanging out with their friends so they don't spread the virus. You have to think, tons of players did stay inside during the summer to play the game, which is pretty addicting. I mean, okay, I honestly think this one's a bit sus that this game blew up, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that the government made Among Us a hit. But then again, governments have done some pretty sus things in the past. Moving on. Propaganda machine. Okay, if you thought the last theory was whack, wait till you hear this one. Some tinfoil hat nutbag users online have a theory that suggests Among Us is one of the first games that is part of a political propaganda machine that is meant to influence young users. If you remember, Congresswoman AOC streamed the game before elections to get people to vote, and it became the third most watched stream in Twitch history. That's insane. Some are saying that more and more politicians are going to be involved in gaming, particularly with games like Among Us, to reach out to young and impressionable voters. This isn't surprising considering the US military is already getting recruits through Twitch streams. Who knows, maybe a couple of years from now, political parties will see video game streaming as one of the best ways to do voter outreach. Can you imagine Trump streaming Among Us though? Now that'd be a really fun nightmare. A social experiment. This one's pretty intense, so buckle up, folks. This theory suggests that Among Us isn't just a video game, it's a social experiment to see if our behavior in the game ends up in the outside world. Pretty much the game promotes lying and deception and is primarily played by kids. So a theory suggests that the game's sole purpose is to influence young people to lie and be deceitful in real life. Or better yet, the theory also suggests that it's trying to see how easily young people can be lied to. It doesn't really make any sense if you consider the state of the world we live in, as well as how much fake news is going around. Honestly, we're not too sure about who's tracking all the info in the game, but it's definitely something to think about. There you have it, 10 unbelievable Among Us theories. Be sure to let us know in the comments what your favorite theories are. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification button. It really helps us out. Alright, we'll see you next time on Game Planet.